I'm Alexandra Soto.
And I'm Tanya Carrillo.
I'm Christina Abreu, and this is We News, the only news network for women and by women. And this is the news.
We all know of the women marches across the nation in our nation's capital, LA, Dallas, Phoenix, and 25 other cities. But what now? What's next for the Marcher movement? Over 900,000 women recently marched in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., and over 4.5 million marched across America with a passion for women empowerment as their only common denominator.
In other news, Meghan Markle, Britain's next princess-to-be, announces her #1 cause in 2018 is women empowerment.
What's interesting is I hear a lot of people saying when speaking about girls' empowerment, finding and knowing their worth, or women's empowerment as well, you'll often hear people say, well, you're helping women find their voices. And I fundamentally disagree with that because women don't need to find a voice. They have a voice, they need to feel empowered to use it, and people need to be encouraged to listen.
And coming up after the break, we have news on the We Tour, the nation's largest woman-empowered concert tour coming up. News on #MeToo, #NextUp, and more. So don't go away, but first, these words.
If you or a loved one underwent hernia surgery between 2010 and 2016 and then suffered serious complications, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Complications associated with FISOMesh include chronic pain, infection, adhesions, mesh migration, reopening of the hernia, and other serious injuries. Call right now.
Call 1-800-611-1769. Again, that's 1-800-611-1769.
Tell my story and here's how it goes. Everything that wasn't like it. My God, Jehovah. It all, but you thank you for life that you that show me.
Welcome back to We News. In other We World News, Saudi Arabia has never been a frontrunner in women's rights, but Saudi King Salman, at the behest of his son, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has issued decrees in recent months designed to liberate some of the Islamic kingdom's most conservative laws. The most high-profile announcement is that women will be allowed to drive in this Islamic conservative kingdom for the first time since 1990, some 28 years ago.
You're responsible for saving people's lives.
Yes.
And you can't drive.
Dr. Ruba Al-Zuhari is studying to become a surgeon. She's also studying for her driver's license.
This will also decrease some of the costs that I'm paying on taxis, on a driver. This will help me be independent.
She's one of the women paving the way at the driving school at Princess Noor University, Saudi Arabia's first driving school for women.
This is a small change, but it's a significant impact on our society.
What do the men think?
They're very significantly positive. That's why it's the right timing. Back in 2011 and 2013, there was negative reaction.
What's changed?
The whole society is changing.
In anticipation of this new law, a Middle Eastern taxi app named Careem, a ride-for-hire company there, much like Uber and Lyft in the US, has received thousands of driver applications as taxi ride drivers for the first time ever, says founder Magnus Olsani. This, according to an interview with Thomson Reuters Saya.
Critics of Saudi Arabia argue that lifting the ban is being used to deflect bad news, specifically a call for an investigation into Saudi ties to Yemen. According to Madawi al-Rashid, professor of anthropology at LSE, whether a governmental deflection or not, we at We World News celebrate the announcement of the potential lifting of the ban and allowing Saudi women to drive and work as drivers in the workplace. This is remarkable progress. Politics or not, Tanya?
I absolutely agree.
I'm Christina Abreu. This is We News. We'll be right back.
Your pet leaves fur wherever he goes, and it's impossible to clean when it gets on your clothes. Not anymore! Introducing the Hurricane Fur Wizard, an all-new extra-large lint brush that picks up fur and lint with ease, then cleans up instantly with a self-cleaning base. Fur Wizard is faster because of the double-sided action. It cleans up twice as much in half the time of other lint brushes. Plus, with just one dip, both sides are cleaned up quick, and just remove the base clip to empty. Look, a tape roller needs so many sheets, while just a few swipes of Fur Wizard easily cleans the entire surface. No refills are ever needed. Use it over and over again. Get your Hurricane Fur Wizard for just $19.99. But wait, call now and you'll also get the Fur Wizard Mini absolutely free. Perfect for quick on-the-go cleanups. It has a self-cleaning base too. But wait, call now and you can get a second complete Fur Wizard set. Just pay separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-261-3572 to get your Fur Wizard. Call or visit byfurwizard.com. So call 1-800-261-3572. Order now.
So when the curve house bitch, I can follow through. And I'm off my square. Guess that perfect out seats is a virtue. We take for granted those simple things. So the best things give it to you, and life was for free. And I can't keep falling and keep take a breather, and then it's all gone knees. What God has no promises, and I promise this, you really want to be the root of that sin, so that we cultivate that pain.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Deutsch. Do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? Then listen carefully. You may be able to save thousands of dollars because right now there are special government tax programs available for people like you who owe the IRS. We can even help you if you have unfiled tax returns. And if you qualify, congratulations! You'll pay less money to the IRS. Stop worrying about wage garnishments and bank levies and call the number on the screen right now. I know what you're going through. I've seen it thousands of times. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, call for your free, no obligation consultation with a tax professional. Don't fight the IRS alone. I'm Ronnie Deutsch, who's your tax lady. Call now.
Call 800-603-9984. 800-603-9984. 800-603-9984.
And we're back. Even nuns are feeling the women empowerment fever. According to Vatican magazine, nuns are complaining of being used as cheap or free labor. Vatican magazine urges the church to stop using nuns as cheap labor. The Vatican magazine denounced widespread exploitation on nuns for cheap or free labor, saying the male hierarchy should stop treating them like lowly servants.
When Maureen Sullivan was only 12 years old, her mother sent her to what was known as an industrial school. This after Sullivan was abused by a family member.
But that lovely school turned out to be a Magdalen laundry to do work every day.
Instead of an education, every day Sullivan says she was taken down a dark, dank passageway to a building next door and put to work.
It was just, you know, it was sticky, sweaty. It was just horrible.
4 orders of Catholic nuns ran the 10 laundries around Ireland. The women say the labor was relentless, injuries common.
Very heavy work. If you weren't doing the sheets quick enough, they'd come over and hit you a box into the side of the face. I often collapsed. Many a time I collapsed.
According to the women, the original mission of saving souls had somehow evolved into a money-making operation built on the backs of unpaid, unwilling laborers who were strictly controlled, as seen in this excerpt from a list of rules published in 1898. They should be obliged to go to the dormitory in silence. We should not allow 2 children to be alone.
The female nuns are sent to the male priest housing dorms to clean and iron male priest clothes and prepare warm meals for the male hierarchy. The scenario painted is that female nuns rise hours before the male priest, and while the male priests sleep, the nuns wash, iron, and prepare the hot meals for the male hierarchy. So when the males arise, they walk down the hall where everything is already prepared and waiting for them. Some of the nuns have PhDs in subjects like theology, and with no explanation are ordered to be domestic servants that have no relationship to their intellectual formation, nor are they even allowed to sit with the males at the same tables they serve. The female nuns are forced to sit and eat at separate tables, much like children at Thanksgiving tables. The struggle is real, sisters. We feel you.
The struggle is real. The nuns issued a statement saying their hope in speaking out is to, quote, create conversation that leads into a richness for the whole church, and they hope that the male hierarchy sits as an occasion for a true collection of power in the church. And now, for a week commentary on the week, is Alexandra Soto.
As we celebrated International Women's Day, we were bombarded by subtitles of fierce, strong woman, hear me roar, girl crew, fearless female, etc. In 2018, everyone has to participate in the celebration of women empowerment or be socially ostracized. McDonald's even turned their M upside down into a W to celebrate women empowerment, and we love this. I don't know that we all have to be superheroes of feminism or that every empowerment act needs to be awarded or even acknowledged. Most of us just want to be considered equal in the workplace, equal in pay, equal in consideration, equal in position. We don't all have to be inspiring or media noticed. Most of us don't want to be empowerment superheroes, just equal. That is empowerment. Empowerment is equality, not supremacy, just equal.
And now, for news celebrity, what's happening in La La Land and entertainment world with women and change? Christina?
Thank you, Tanya. Sex and the City star Cynthia Nixon has announced she is running for governor of New York. She is very close to the mayor of New York City and has a lot of support in that state. She is a vocal anti-Trump proponent and an outspoken advocate of women's rights. So we will see as Sex and the City comes to the governor's mansion.
Me Too spokesperson and Hollywood actress Alyssa Milano, a huge vocal spokesperson for women empowerment, is toying with the idea of running for public office also. The former star of Charmed and Who's the Boss is said to be considering a congressional seat or run for state representative. We will keep you informed.
The movie star Scarlett Johansson recently took center stage in LA. In the huge Women's March that drew over 600,000 with fellow actresses like Reese Witherspoon, where she publicly reminded everyone she had given actor James Franco, who is now facing charges of sexual harassment. Scarlett Johansson demanded Franco to give the pin back.
My mind baffles. How could a person publicly stand by an organization that helps to provide support for victims of sexual assault while privately preying on people who have no power? I want my pin back, by the way.
Mr. Franco, be careful. It never ends well when you make the ladies mad.
Speaking of Reese Witherspoon, the Oscar-winning superstar best known for Legally Blonde and Sweet Home Alabama, she is now one of Hollywood's most powerful women, according to the Huffington Post. She recently parted with the production company Papandrea to produce 2014's Wild, Gone Girl, Hot Pursuit, and the 2016's Big Little Lies. But Reese has now parted company with Papandrea and taken full control of the company. Women want real substance and premium, thought-provoking, well-made content, and they want it now, she says. Reese Witherspoon is 2017's Hollywood Innovator of the Year. Go Reese! It appears 2018 is the year of women in Hollywood. More on WE News when we return.
And what I intend on doing with this project is being transparent, being open, and helping people be free from a lot of the things that held me back. At the young age of 7 years old.
Where were you when I was 5? All I do was wait. All I do was wait. And I got the history of this nation, yes.
Women's empowerment to me is simply just not being afraid to be confident, not being afraid for speaking out for what you believe in, and not being afraid to stand up for yourself or others. I feel like as women, we're told no to so many things so many times, but whenever we stick together and support each other, then we can show the world that we're here to stay and that we're super powerful. I feel like this message applies to every woman, every shape, size, color, and everything in between, that we are powerful and we are fearless.
Attention! Have you been diagnosed with asbestos, lung cancer, or mesothelioma? Were you a worker in a shipyard, or a railroad worker, a pipe fitter, or a worker in the oil and gas industry, worked in construction, or a Navy vet? If you worked in any of these professions, were exposed to asbestos, and now have lung cancer or mesothelioma, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call 1-855-384-6238. That's 1-855-384-6238.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Do you know there is money available to lower your Medicare prescription costs? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you with no cost or obligation. We'll search a variety of plans from nationally recognized companies to find the coverage that's the best fit for you at a price that fits your budget, and we'll do it at no charge to you. Plus, you may be able to save money on prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call 855-589-0676. 855-589-0676. Don't wait, call now.
Hey travelers, everybody wants cheap airfares, but where can you find them? You call Smart Fares. Our prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low they're not published anywhere. Smart Fares specializes in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rentals, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, Smart Fares can help you get there cheaply and with the best price guarantee. If you want the absolute lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call us right now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these low rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the lowest rates available. So don't wait. Call Smart Fares right now for the best price guaranteed. Save up to 50% off business and first class. We've got great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 800-477-0945. That's 800-477-0945. 800-477-0945.
And welcome back. Convicted domestic violence abusers in New York will no longer be able to own or purchase guns in New York State. The New York State Legislature passed a bill that would prohibit convicted domestic violence abusers from owning or buying any gun for any reason. According to New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat, New York is once again leading the way to prevent gun violence, and with this common sense reform, break the inextricable link between gun violence and domestic violence. Laws like this address a very real problem across this nation. The presence of guns in a domestic violence situation increases the risk of homicide by 500%, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence.
Current state law prohibits felons from possessing a gun. Cuomo's proposal adds misdemeanors to the list of prohibited offenses. It also expands the types of prohibited firearms. Right now, handguns must be surrendered during an order of protection, but Cuomo says long guns like rifles and shotguns are still allowed. He says his legislation would force offenders to hand those over as well. Karen Panzarella is a domestic abuse survivor. In her case, she says she would have felt a lot safer had this legislation been in place all those years ago.
The judge did make him remove the firearms, but he allowed him to put them at his friend's house. And as soon as they were put at his friend's house, I got threatening calls from his friend about that fact. And so I still didn't feel comfortable that he knew where the firearms were and they were accessible to him.
In domestic violence cases where perpetrator has a firearm, 500% more likely to end in a homicide. So it makes perfect sense.
I would love to say, I think the federal government is really going to get its act together now after Florida. My problem is I know better. I was sure something was going to happen after Sandy Hook. The only thing that happened is that New York took action. The laws in the state of New York are far ahead of the federal laws. The laws in Connecticut are far ahead of the federal laws. Laws in Jersey are far ahead of the federal laws. Laws in Rhode Island are far ahead. The problem is I can't protect the people of my state with just state laws because the guns come in from over the border. So we really do need a federal law. If you don't believe you can get a federal law, the next best thing is a coalition of states. And that's what we're doing. We have a mental health database, so do the other states. We have an assault rifle ban, so do the other states. And we're going to share information because if you can't buy a gun in New York, you shouldn't be able to go to Connecticut and buy a gun and drive back.
Right now, it's unclear how the governor plans to get this passed. He could use it as a bargaining chip during budget negotiations next year. It's also possible it could require a vote from the legislature to become a law. We expect to learn more on that in the coming months.
And the federal government's failure to act on any form of meaningful gun safety laws is unconscionable. We News applauds Governor Cuomo's statement and this new bill. In addition to reducing females' homicides, the New York legislation could also prevent mass shootings. A mass shooting is defined as 4 or more people being fatally shot. The majority of mass shootings involve domestic violence. According to a 2017 report from NPR, 54% of mass shootings involves in between 2009 and 2016 were carried out by someone who had previously committed violence against an intimate partner. Christina.
And now for an exciting positive storyline developing in South Carolina. We go to our We News Cause activist, Carolee.
Thank you, Christina. A new 48-city tour for women empowerment is being planned across America. The #We Tour is the nation's largest women empowerment tour, spanning 2 countries and 48 cities. Nikki Haley is now in President Trump's staff and no longer governor of South Carolina. But South Carolina is still in the top 5 worst states in the nation for domestic violence. So, #We Tour is committing the funds from its now planned 48-city national tour to empty the domestic violence shelters in South Carolina, giving every approved domestic violence shelter victim a car, a steady job with benefits, and their own residence. #We Tour is doing this to not just talk about it, but be about it. I am so honored to say I am the appointed national spokesperson for #We South Carolina. And #We Tour is pledging these millions of its own profits to challenge sponsors, corporations, churches, and other organizations to do the same in their own state. South Carolina is being prepped to become the new template of how to turn the tide and reverse the numbers of women in domestic violence centers. This is Carolee. We News, back to you in Miami.
This is We News. I'm Alexandra Soto.
I'm Tanya Carrillo.
And I'm Christina Abreu. Thank you for watching.
We'll see you next time.